Caleb Johnson entering the transfer portal last week. When did you hear about that, and did you talk to him when he told
Last,
you?
I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday.
You've been a proponent of the transfer portal before. I'm wondering if you think there should be a schedule to it, when it's open, when it's closed. Would that help, or is that not something that costs money?
We don't even think of it that way. Just whatever the rules are, then those are the rules. So just the way it works, that's what college football is all right now. So.
We've seen some interesting rotations on the defensive line. There was the Murphys and Carl Jones there. What are you seeing from that? It seems very aggressive.
We're just trying to get reps, so I wouldn't read anything into practice 4 of spring ball that this is a rotation. They're just trying to get everybody reps, as many as we can, and sometimes it's you may have a kid who's out. You wanted to have this guy in, but he's out for a play, so they got this guy in. So we're not. There are no really 1s, 2s, 3s, or whatever during the spring. You know, as we start to get closer towards games, you know, when you get to the fall, when you're starting to get into the season, then you start to really look at rotations and reps. But right now we're just trying to get as many reps for our guys as we possibly can, and then just so we get film to coach off of. So, you know, we've got through 6 training sessions so far and got a lot of really good film, but we still got 9 more to go. So we haven't had a meeting once and talked about, hey, what is the rotation? It's just, you know, we're getting somewhere between 118 to 25 reps a training session, and let's just make sure they're distributed. And a lot of times, sometimes it may be governed by a kid's down with a sprained ankle, so hey, you got to go in and play. Sometimes it's out of position too. You know, we had a couple of receivers banged up on Saturday that didn't finish, so we had to play some tight ends at receivers. Now those guys are back, so it's not a big deal, but I wouldn't read anything into those rotations. So.
It's been a few weeks, but what do you see from the Murphys? How have they adapted, you know, in such a short time?
Yeah, they've done a really nice job. You know, I think for any of those guys, that group of guys that came here on for the spring term, you know, they got their first classes were on Monday, and then we were on the practice field on Tuesday. So they've really picked things up quickly. They're smart. They're both really aggressive, tough, hard-nosed, physical players. Exactly what we thought we saw when we watched them on film. So I've been really impressed with both those guys.
I think it's 11 offensive linemen, so a lot fewer than you had in the fall and last spring. Is that something that you think kind of pushes them a lot, like they're kind of riding the challenge, you know, and they have to take more reps than maybe?
Yeah, they're getting a little bit. We don't have most positions. We get a rotation of 3 deep at least, and then at the old line right now we don't. I think we're at 14. So, you know, those guys are just taking advantage of the extra reps that they get. Give them, you know, kind of in their bank. They get to put more in their bank because they're getting more snaps and more reps. So, you know, you're hopeful that as we get through the end of the spring, that'll be beneficial to, you know, Bruno and Garrett and some of those guys that are getting a ton of reps right now. But I think they're thirsty for them and are excited about getting them. So.
What do you think of how Coach Drevno has kind of moved to an on-the-field role so far this spring? How that's kind of
he's done a great job. You know, obviously he was here before, so there isn't a learning curve for Drev. And then he just brings such a wealth of experience from coaching in the NFL and coaching in a lot of major Power 5 football programs besides ours. So, you know, he's run a lot of different schemes. He's done a lot of different things in his career as a coach, and it was really beneficial to us that we could have him here last year on an analyst role, and then it was an easy transition when Justin left to just move Drev right into that role, and he's done a great job with it.
How much is helping coaches with NFL experience help at the college level?
I mean, I just think anybody's experience is really beneficial to you. But when you have guys like Drev, you know, Ken Norton Jr., Billy McGovern that have spent time in the National Football League, I think that's a huge bonus. You know, there's schematic things that Billy and Ken have brought to us defensively. Some of the techniques and things that Drev is teaching now with our guys is a big bonus. So it's not often we have that many, but we're real fortunate that we do.
A lot to the transfer from Washington. I know at his time at Washington, before he left, I believe he saw 5 specialists before having to medically retire. So I was wondering about the due diligence as far as, you know, looking into him and then bringing him in.
Yeah, everything here is cleared through our medical doctors. So Dr. Goldman and Dr. McAllister, then they're the ones who tell us who's recruitable and not recruitable from a physical standpoint. So that was our due diligence. Our doctors handle all of that. The coaches never make any medical decisions.
And then as far as just conditioning, you know, he hasn't done work on the field in a while. How is he just?
Well, he's going through practice right now. So
Oh, as far as the last time when he was at Washington.
I couldn't speak to when he was at Washington, so I don't know what they did with him when he was up there.
I was wondering how you feel the receiving core is kind of shaking out so far. Is there any guys who are kind of surprising
Yeah,
you?
they are. They're doing a really nice job. I think Jake Bobo and Titus have done a really good job coming in. A couple of I think Kaz has done a really good job there. Kaz is playing both positions for us right now, and doing some really good things out there. Logan Loy is doing some really good things out there. So it's just a matter of those guys getting acclimated, especially the new guys. You know, Jake and Titus got here in January, so they certainly understand football. You know, both played at their respective programs before they got here, but just getting really familiar with our terminology. You know, it may have been called this at Duke under Coach Cutcliffe, and it's called this here. But he's run the gamut in his career, and the same thing with Titus. Titus, you know, had got really good experience in Central Florida, so it's a matter of just for those new guys coming in and just get the terminology down. But I thought they've done a really nice job of really just, you almost don't know that they just got here because of how well they've produced so far this spring. So.
What's the lead, with guys like Logan, coming into sophomore year, need to kind of take in order to be able to kind of pick up the
Yeah, we're on a daily basis, you know, so can he be better today than he was on Saturday? And he was good on Saturday, so just continuing to put good days together. You know, I think that's the thing, is the consistency, you know, to be able to go out there and be reliable, be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, and catch the ball. And our quarterbacks, I think, are getting more comfortable with those guys from that standpoint. So for all of those guys and anybody at that position, it's a consistency thing. Can I continue to do it day in and day out?
How do you think Dorian's going to help him, bring them along,
Dorian's done a great job. You know, obviously to have an older player like that coming back, he's done a really good job with the younger quarterbacks. You know, with Justin and you know, kind of teaching them a pre-practice routine and kind of what we're trying to get accomplished out there. So whether it's the receivers or the quarterbacks or anybody at the skill position on the offensive side of the ball, I think he's done a really good job of leading those guys.
Yeah, Coach Malloy over here, we see him running drills sometimes. He's leaping and diving at the pads and dummies and stuff. Is it kind of new to you to have someone with that energy, hands-on kind of stuff going on?
No, it's not new, but we enjoy it. You know, I've always respected the work that he did when he was at Washington, and I've met him a few times in the recruiting process. He's got a great reputation, but being around him on a daily basis, I think he's got an infectious personality. He's done a really good job, not only with the outside linebackers, but with our special teams as a whole. You know, from the competitive drills that he's brought with him, and what our guys are doing and investing in that. We were really good on special teams last year. And we'll continue to do that. You know, I think with bringing him in and some of the scheme tweaks that he's done, and some of the things he's brought to the table there. But really excited about him coaching and glad we got him on staff.
Charbonnet still looks the part, but what are you seeing from the running backs behind him? You know, Deshaun, Keegan, even Brian Colwell looked pretty productive.
Brian's done a nice job. So hasn't Deshaun. Obviously, Keegan's an older player, has really made some impactful plays for us over the last couple of years, and is continuing. So I think all of those guys, I think everybody understands that Zach is Zach. You know, when he's finding the compliments to him. But Keegan's already been used in that role. You know, I think just trying to take some load off of what Britton Brown did for us, and obviously had a huge impact on us. So, you know, how will that be distributed in the fall? We'll figure that out as we start to get closer to games. But right now, we're just trying to get those guys a lot of reps, and they've been healthy. They've done a really nice job, and we also have used Kaz there. You know, so Kaz is kind of playing a hybrid role for us. So we're excited about the depth behind Zach. But you know, as long as Zach is healthy, he'll be the guy.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right.